God, there's already a long line. With that being, like, I know there's already a long line. You all have a lot of questions. So I'm going to ask you a few things. One, if you can find your one best question, you may have multiple questions. If you can find your one best question and ask that, that way we can get through as many as possible. Also, if you can get straight to your question, that will also help us get through as many as possible. This is a good, healthy room. How are we feeling today, Twin Cities? But if we're going to ask some questions, I guess we need somebody to answer those questions. So, with no further ado, Minnesota Twin Cities Con, please help me welcome, you know him as Barry Allen, the Flash. Please help me welcome Grant Gustin. Well, welcome to Minnesota.
Thank you, thank you.
I think the first thing we say is, go Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about the Dodgers, right?
Muted response.
I know. But obviously, good to you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Did you have any money on it with Shohei?
No money with Shohei. I stayed out of that.
Okay. Well, again, congratulations on all the success that you've had.
Thank you.
It's been part of the pun, but a heck of a run with the Flash. I wish I did that on purpose. But I mean, going from the beginning of The Flash, did you expect it to be anything like this is?
I often say I think I naively kind of did expect it to be popular, and Jesse Martin, Tom Cavanaugh, Danielle Panabaker, like they always gave me a hard time about that because they had worked a lot. They were much more seasoned in this career than I was when the show started. And they knew what tends to be the case, which is shows get a season and they get canceled or you know, not much more than one season. And I just kind of knew like, well, Arrow's a hit and Flash has been a much more popular character for a longer time. And Greg Berlanti was the showrunner, and I knew how much he cared about the character and knew how excited he was about it. And I was like, well, surely we'll be as popular as they are. And I thankfully was right. So yeah, I kind of naively did expect it to do well.
Well, there's a rumor out there that you didn't even show up to your audition. Is this right?
Well, no, I did. I didn't think I was right for the role, and I didn't think I stood any chance at getting it. I mean, look, I was a very, like, I had to take what I could get. I mean, I still feel that way about my career, but, like, especially then, like, I hadn't worked in, like, 9 months or so, maybe close to a year when I went to the audition for Flash. I was thinking about going back to New York and focusing on theater. And yeah, I was like, there's no way I'll get this. This is a waste of my time. And mostly out of insecurity, it just kind of felt like, why? I didn't want to go. But I did go. I did show up for the audition, which is why we're sitting here today.
Now you mentioned theater, and I've been blessed all weekend to sit across from Stephanie Beatrice and Ian McDermott, and the entire has-been cast from Broadway. You just wrapped up Water for Elephants. Congratulations on that. How does that come, after you've had a successful show, is it more you reaching out to somebody on that end, or are they reaching out to you?
No, nobody reached out to me. Well, kind of somebody did, I guess, but it was a friend. I had a friend that was in the company of that show, and they had done an out-of-town production of it in Atlanta, and it was transferring to Broadway. And the actor Ryan Vasquez, who played Jacob, had done. You know, it's pretty standard for Broadway shows to have out-of-town runs before they transfer. And there were The Notebook, The Outsiders, and Water for Elephants had all had these out-of-town runs, and Ryan had been in all of them, and they were all transferring, so he had to pick what show he was going to do, and he didn't pick Water for Elephants. He ended up doing The Notebook, and so the role opened up, and I had a friend that was like, well, do you want to audition for this? And Flash had ended like I don't know, maybe less than a year, but not a year. It'd probably been like 9 months, 8 months, and I had always wanted to get back on stage when the show ended. So no, it was, I had my manager reach out to them and say that, I was interested, like, could I get an audition? And it really was very standard of a process. I made a tape because they were casting out of New York, and I got a call back, and my daughter had just started preschool, so I was like, can I do the callback on Zoom? Because like at that point, drop-offs were like touch and go every morning. She was like melting down, and I was like, I don't want to leave right now. I need to be here for my family. And they're like, you really need to be there in person. So I flew to New York and did a callback, and I was boarding my plane to fly back home when I found out I got it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was quick. Yeah.
I mean, things don't normally move that quick.
But it was like a very normal audition process, though. It wasn't like, can I do it? And they were like, yes. I auditioned.
How was that transitioning now, going from being a theater kid to television, and then going back to theater, working 8 days, or not 8 days a week, but 8 times a week?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, I had done one Broadway tour. I left school. I dropped out of college after my sophomore year to go on a Broadway tour of West Side Story. So that was 8 shows a week, but it was different because you're on the road, and it's in some ways it's harder because you're traveling on Mondays, and then so you never really have a true off day unless you have like a longer sit down for like 3 to 5 weeks, which we sometimes had. But in some ways it's easier because I guess for me it was easier because I was just kind of. I was a jet. I was dancing, and I didn't have to worry about my voice. I was also turned 21 on the road, and now I have a family. My wife was pregnant when I was doing Water for Elephants, and I have a 3-year-old, and I hadn't done an 8-show week since I was, 21, and I had never had to sing. My character sang like 7 or 8 songs in the show, and I hadn't really been singing much for the last 13 years, at least live, and I have never really thought of myself as a singer. It was like always something I kind of could do but didn't feel confident about, so I had to become confident, and it was tough, stressful, because every morning, you wake up and you have a morning voice, and so every single morning I'd wake up and be like, I don't think I can sing it today. Like, it's my thought every single morning for 6 months straight. But it was incredible. It was a dream come true, but it was hard.
All right, so I have one more question before we send it out to our audience, and that is, it's a big thing right now to take older hit movies, Back to the Future, Mean Girls, Outsiders, and give them and turn it into a musical.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie, a childhood movie, that you would like to see get that Broadway treatment?
The one that just popped in my head, Back to the Future was actually like a favorite movie of mine as a kid, so when they did that, I thought that was really cool. And another kind of similar era movie that I loved since I was a kid was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So I feel like that would be a fun. I feel like that could translate, because it is hard to be like, I guess there's certain movies that make into musicals here that make you think like, I guess anything could be a musical, but I feel like that one would translate well.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Stacy. One of the funniest lines to come from Flash, in my opinion, is "Lightning gave me abs."
Yeah, 100%.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
If another natural occurrence could heighten an ability, what would it be and what would cause it?
That's such a specific, funny question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's so many layers to that question. Ask it again.
If like a natural occurrence, like an earthquake, shark attack, could like heighten an ability, like perfect vision, like what would you choose?
So interesting. I mean,
I don't know if shark attack is on that list.
It is natural, so it has to be of nature. What would you choose? That is so. I'm gonna flip it back around. I feel like you spent more time thinking about this.
I would love like an earthquake to give me like a lot of my dexterity back. I have a lot of chronic pain that has taken that from me. So.
And that's cool. That's a cool like story too. So
I know. Right?
Yeah. I feel totally.
It's like a giant massage.
I feel like I need to because I don't want to give a shallow, hollow answer to this. I need to get back to you on this. There's so many layers to that question. But I like your answer, so we'll go with that for now.
I know what you're thinking about for the entire rest of the
now I'm not going to think of anyone else's question.
Hi, I'm Derek. It's kind of common knowledge that you were a fan of Superman growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
So how does it feel that your Glee co-star and the music meister himself, Darren Criss, got to play Superman before you did?
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever get to play Superman in any capacity. But the fact that Darren has makes me think that maybe I have a chance. But no, I don't think I'll ever play Superman. I actually haven't. I watched the beginning of it, because he's voicing in a couple things now, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, the newest thing he did that's like a two-parter. I think it's like a version of Flashpoint that's out right now.
I think it's Crisis?
Yeah, Crisis, yeah. So I put that on, and I forgot that he was doing that. And it's Matt Bomer, I think, is Flash, is that right?
That I'm not sure. I haven't watched the Crisis.
I think it's on. I turned it on, and then I forgot that it was Darren, and I heard his voice, and I was traveling, and I was like, I can't do this right now. Turned it off. I love Darren, but yeah, I guess that is. I've never really thought about the fact that he got to do that, and I probably never will.
Thank you. We love you, Grant.
Thanks for that. Less of a question, more of a dig.
Hi, my name's Randy.
Okay.
What was it like being directed by Kevin Smith a couple of times?
Really cool. Kevin had this real, genuine passion and emotion for the show. There was this video of him, I think watching the season 1 finale that...
And he cries?
Yeah, it kind of went viral, his reaction to it. And I hadn't met him yet when I first saw that, and then heard he was coming to direct it. And yeah, he's got a personality and an energy unlike anybody else I've ever met or worked with. So it was really special. I wish he could have come back and done more. Yeah, it was really cool, really unique, fun experience.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael.
My question is, when you had the song Running Home to You and you were singing it to Iris, was that your idea or the writers?
No, that was just, that was in the script. I mean, that was the writers. I very rarely had, ideas I pitched. I'm not, I mean, it's true. Well, because some people do, I know Steven did over the years. Steven would, before seasons, talk about things that he thought would be cool to have in the show. And I know other actors do that on other shows, and there's that, which is not, right or wrong. I think usually the actors that are doing that also have some type of writing ability or consider themselves writers, and I don't consider myself a writer. I think I'm good at
But you have the voice to sing, so that's why.
Yeah, but I also would never be can I sing? I don't. I actually, one thing I learned doing the Broadway show was I don't necessarily love doing it. It stresses me out in a way that acting doesn't. I mean, of course I get nervous as an actor, and I also have insecurities and self-doubt that can creep up as an actor, but it's on another level for me as a singer. And I do get something out of it, it's fun, but it's really stressful. So I would never, if it wasn't a prerequisite for a job, I would never go to somebody and be I think we should add a song for me. But no, yeah, it wasn't my idea at all. But I know that song has become, I get told all the time that people have used it for a first dance at a wedding, or they walk down the aisle to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and my daughter got obsessed with the Water for Elephants music while I was doing it. She's 3, and she actually got to see the show. And so I sing the music to her a lot at bedtime. And then my wife was getting sick of the album because she was having to do it for her while I was still finishing the show. And so she started playing other things like Glee songs and Running Home to You, because she wanted Papa songs. And so my daughter thinks, she's do the new song. She thinks that's my new song.
Rescued by Ruby, and what kind of drew you towards that movie?
That was one of the only things that I've been offered, actually. Like, well, that I've done. Like, you know, most things, like, I have to, like, seek out and, like, try to go get an audition for, and that came to me towards the end of whatever season I shot it between, and it was during COVID. It was right the season after. It must have been season 6, between 6 and 7, because it was. I wasn't going to be able to leave Canada anyway because of COVID, and I think the border restrictions had lifted slightly, but my wife was pregnant, and we were probably going to stay in Vancouver, and the movie was going to shoot in Victoria, which is just like right across the water, a ferry ride away from Vancouver, and I just thought it was a really sweet story. I mean, I remember I didn't know it was a true story the first time I read it, and I got to the end and I was crying, like, as he's, like, you know, rescued the dog and him, spoiler alert, saved the boy at the end of the movie. And then, like, there's the twist, I won't spoil, about, like, you know, there's a couple things that, there's like a character connection that's a twist at the end of the movie, and I just thought it was, like, a little ridiculous that, like, it's, like, very much a movie, and then I found out that was real, that had really happened, and it was a true story, and I just thought that was really cool. So I just thought it was a really sweet story, and in all honesty, it was like a really convenient project to shoot between seasons, so that's kind of how that came to be.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, good. Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
My wife and I saw you last May on Broadway. You were amazing.
Oh,
it was a
thank
great
you.
show. Tied into musical theater outside of the Ferris Bueller show. If you could pick any current Broadway show or Broadway show from the past,
Yeah.
you could cast yourself in any role in musical, what would be your dream role?
I had always said my dream role was to originate something, and I still kind of feel that way. Like, I've gotten to do it, but I would like to do that again. But one role I almost got to do, and then no, it wasn't COVID. That it was an unrelated logistical thing that the show got canceled. But was hair. I've always loved hair, and I would love to play Claude in Hair. Yeah, another actor I love who recently passed, Gavin Creel, played it in the revival, and he's probably my favorite musical theater actor. Who I never got to meet him. He just tragically passed of a rare form of cancer at 46, and anyway, I love Gavin as a performer, and seeing him do it like made me want to do it. So that's probably the role I would love to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello.
Was there a specific episode of The Flash that you had the most fun like filming?
Most fun, like one of the episodes I always think of when I'm thinking of like what was like the most fun I ever had was that Earth 2 episode where I got to just be a completely different version of Barry with the glasses. Yeah, that was fun. Like those were always the most fun episodes where like you're doing something that you didn't usually get to do. So yeah, that one was really fun. And then like I didn't want to do it when I read it. There was where I had to do all the different Welleses, where I had to be like Sherlock and like that one stressed me out. But that was fun too. Like anytime I got to do something that was kind of out of the norm for me, it was really fun.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hi.
I'm Sam, and I was wondering, because there's a lot of interesting villains, what was your favorite one to go up against?
I mean, always reverse Flash, like Tom Chapman, of course, who's, one of my best friends, but also, Matt Lesher, who got to play him, was another good friend of mine. I mean, that's the obvious answer, but it's true. And then, Teddy Sears as Zoom was, I thought, awesome. It was always really fun. And then I loved working with Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold. I thought those are always fun.
Probably King Shark.
Oh yeah, well those were weird. That was probably my least favorite to do because I mean it was cool to see, but usually I'm like acting with nothing or like a guy on stilts or like or sometimes it was like a green noodle. So those as an actor you're like, all right, like and it's always in public like downtown Vancouver in the Flash to it and you're like, are people watching right now? This is embarrassing. Yeah, but those always looked cool when they were done. They did a good job with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good answer.
Hello.
Hi there, my name's Paul.
Hey.
So I have a bit of a tough question. I'm not exactly sure if you can disclose.
Okay.
But I know James Gunn has this huge vision for his Gunniverse.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, has there been any sort of like secret calls behind the scene, or is that
No, I mean, I wish that like I was doing like an Andrew Garfield and was like really good about lying about this, but no. Like there's no, like when they made the movie up until now, like there's never been anyone that's reached out and asked if I was interested. But I feel like I kind of continue to publicly say like I'd be interested. So I know I'd be interested, like, but no.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No.
There he is.
Hey, Brett, it's nice to meet you again.
Yeah.
I'm the rice bag guy.
Yes, you are the
Alright,
rice bag guy.
my name is Jay. So my question is that, so since you told me that season 1 is your favorite, so throughout the 23 episodes, which is your favorite episode of season 1?
It would be between the pilot and the finale, but I'd probably the finale. I think the finale stands. I mean, again, I think I said to you, I haven't rewatched any of it since it aired. And there's some episodes in some seasons I've never seen, but it's been a long time since I watched season 1. But to this day, at least from memory of shooting it and watching it, I think season 1 finale has got to hold up as like one of the best episodes we've made.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Mohammed. One of the biggest moments in Crisis was when you and Ezra Miller had a meeting in that Star Lab scene. And the whole crossover was had like a lot of legacy characters. Is there any legacy DC character or actor that you wish you could have had a scene with, or even just showed up in the crossover as a whole?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, they got so many people. I didn't get to work with Tom Welling. I know we had him, but I didn't work with him. That would have been cool. Or Michael Rosenbaum. Like he didn't come. I think he's talked about it. I think that he has said that like they offered him top of show, which is the least that you can pay somebody to guest star on an episode of TV. I think he said that publicly, and he was like, "That's ridiculous," which it is. So yeah, that would have been cool because I know he voiced the Flash too. So that would have been cool to have him as Lex, but also just kind of a like Easter egg that he's also a Flash. And then, yeah, I mean, I know I just spent 5 minutes talking about him, but the late great Chris Reeve. I mean, if he was still around, that would have been like my, or like I know he was just in the kind of a weird CGI looking version of him was in the movie, but to have Nick Cage as like a alternate super, that would have been cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. This is gonna be a very weird question.
All right, let's buckle up.
Are you with that family?
It's not gonna be like one of those like weird questions. It's gonna be like a pretty hard question to answer. But the Flash is obviously like a very comic book character and stuff. And how did it feel like translating like the Flash into this like soap opera TV 22 episode show?
Yeah.
That like. And I'm like, how does it feel like reading the pages and being like, okay, how am I gonna translate that into like a CW show?
Yeah, well, I mean, most of that work, I feel like in heavy lifting, landed on the writers to have to be like, all right, how do we make this work in a 5-act, episodic, contained version of The Flash? For me, I mean, as an actor, it's like, I hadn't read a lot of Flash comic books. Like my, research before the show was to read as much as I could, and like during the first season I was still reading a lot until it got to a point where I was like, all I'm thinking about and reading about and doing is the Flash. So I kind of like I feel like I'm have submerged myself in this enough, and I stopped reading it all. But it's for anything that you're approaching as an actor. I feel like I don't think about big picture of the fact that it's this iconic character or that it exists outside of whatever I'm doing. It's like whatever on the page is what I focus on and what I do. So I try to make my job as easy as I possibly can, and that's to kind of like look at what's on the page and try to believe it and tell the truth. So everything else is kind of outside of my control, if that makes any sense.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a little bit less than 10 minutes left, so we're gonna do maybe a little lightning round. Pardon the pun, again. I'm not doing this on purpose. Hi, what's your name?
Hi. Is this close enough?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Absolutely. Okay. Hi, Grant. I'm William McComas. So my question is, what was it like to play Savatar?
It was fun. I mean, I wish we got to do more. I know that's something all of us have kind of agreed, like the writers, and we wish we'd kind of made more of that. It was because it was kind of, it was a slow burn, and by the time we revealed it was me, we kind of like wrapped it up. So yeah, it was really fun. I mean, I don't remember, because that was season 3, right? Yeah, it was so long ago. I don't remember at what point I found out that it was me. Like, I didn't ask a lot of questions when we were filming. Like, I didn't want to know a lot of times and I didn't really need to know, because when it was the suit, and like there was like CGI versions of him, like I wasn't playing him. It was like a guy in a suit, and I wasn't voicing him either when it was like, the weird voice. So like I was just playing Barry. He didn't know that it was him. So it didn't really affect what I was doing as an actor. I didn't find out until I got the scripts where it was revealed that it was Barry. So I remember being very surprised. I think I thought it was Tom Felton. Wasn't that the misdirect? That was his season, right? Tom Felton, yeah. So I think like that was the intentional misdirect. So yeah, it was cool. I mean, again, like I always had the most fun when I got to do something that was different than what I was generally doing, like day in and day out over the course of what ended up being like nearly 10 years. So yeah, it was always really fun to do something different. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. You actually answered my question, but I also heard you think this house is bitching.
I do.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Hallie. Wow, all words just left my head. Okay.
You got your name.
Yes, I spend my entire time walking up here scripting my question, and suddenly the script completely leaves my head.
Know that feeling all too well.
Okay, found it. So I spent most of my teenage years watching you first with my mom on Glee, and then with my dad on The Flash. And so I'm going to ask you one of my favorite questions to ask people who are on panels I get to go to, which is, you've been a part of 2 major franchises that are like immediately your face is recognizable because of this thing. And what is that like for you, being in something that is so iconic, and how has that shaped your life?
Well, both changed my, Flash of course changed my life, but Glee was like I moved to LA because of Glee, so that kind of was a tectonic shift in my life, where I thought I was going to be a New York actor, and all of a sudden I moved to LA for that, and stayed, because like enough other things were kind of happening, like I was getting other guest star roles, like a 90210, and I did a Lifetime movie, and I did a CSI Miami episode, so like, I was like, oh, I'm like making some money, but then it slowed down, and like making some money, like I can afford to pay rent and like stay in Los Angeles. But then it got to a point where I was like, I think now I have to leave, because I couldn't afford to stay, and I wasn't working anymore when Flash happened. And I now know that Glee played a part in me getting Flash, because they saw how much fun I had on Glee, and then it was so genuine, and they wanted that. They wanted that for Barry, for him to, when he got his powers, to see the joy, and they felt that kind of came natural for me, because I love doing what I do. So it helped me get the role. And Flash obviously changed my life, and it ran for so long, and it's now, my life is outside of doing things like this, being here talking to you guys, like very normal. Like I spend all my time with my family. I've always kind of been a homebody. So I don't really live like a quote unquote LA life. Like I don't go to I'm not like out at premieres, out at parties. I don't know. I mean, and like I'm still kind of grinding now as an actor. Like I had a great job, but it doesn't mean, and like how again I kind of naively assumed maybe it would. Like all doors were going to fly open for me. It has put me in a different position where I can get a foot in a door and I can get into auditions and stuff. But now that Flash is over, I'm back to grinding to finding out like where the next job is going to come from. But it's put me in a position where I get to still pursue it. And again, I just love doing what I do. And now I'll get to be associated with the Flash's legacy for my entire life, which was around decades before I was around and will be around long after I'm gone. So it's pretty special that I get to be associated with something that means so much to so many people and is so much bigger than I am.
Thank you for coming to our con.
Just a couple minutes remaining. Hello.
Hi, I'm Ben.
Hi.
I just want to say I think that you're probably the best live-action actor to play the Flash.
Oh, thank you.
The best animated Flash would probably be Michael Rosenbaum.
All right.
Also, do you remember Crisis on Infinite Earth?
Of course.
Well, I remember assembling my own fancy team of paragons to save the multiverse. Let's see. All Might as the paragon of hope, the Doctor as the paragon of destiny. Wonder Woman is the paragon of truth. Harry Potter is the paragon of courage.
Let's go.
Optimus Prime is the paragon of honor. Sailor Moon is the paragon of love.
Let's go.
And Captain Kirk is the paragon of humanity.
Let's go. That's an unstoppable team.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Hi, I'm Dominic. Barry went through so many setbacks and tragedies for Flash, losing his mom, his father in jail. What advice would you give to your fan base who've gone through similar tragedies but don't necessarily have the superpowers to get through what Barry went through and have to rely on their own everyday lives?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's been a part of this that has been unexpected to me. Because when you're doing it, again, I just focused on the work, and I think you kind of I don't allow myself to think of what effect is this having on people, or what is the reach, how popular is it going to be. The only reason I think the show did work is most of us, you had to kind of separate yourself from the noise and just focus on doing a good job and what is truthful to your character, and so that was always my approach to it. So it wasn't until I started coming to some of these when I was done with the show, because I didn't do a lot of these while I was filming the show because I was so busy. It's tired, frankly. So now that it's done, I'm meeting more fans than I ever have, and to see the effect that it's had on people and moments in their life that it's helped them get through. So I wish I had some advice to give, but I really don't. Barry helped me too when I was filming the show. Just to there were character traits that he had that I wanted to, bring into part of my personality. I'm not Barry Allen, but there are parts of him that I tried to make part of me because they were inspiring to me as well. So I definitely don't have all the answers or all the advice, but it's not lost on me that the show has helped people get through some of those tough times, though. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which suit was your favorite? Which one was the easiest to move in, and what was your least favorite?
My favorite is probably the final suit because it was the most comic accurate, and that was a dream of mine. That when we're done, I want it to look how it looked in the comic books. But looking back, my a tie almost is my very first suit with the emblem and the dark red, and it was and that one was probably the easiest, or it was the most comfortable and the easiest to get in and out of. Although at the time I wouldn't have said that during season 1. I thought it was very comfortable. But when I look back on all of them, that was probably the easiest to get in and out of. The last one was probably the easiest to move in, but I needed help to get in and out of it. And season 5, the one that's very leather, and a lot of people like that suit. I hated that suit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. Between you being an artist and your wife being a trainer and business owner, I'm just wondering how you balance living out your dreams and also being a new parent.
Yeah, I mean, My wife is incredible. I mean, she's a physical therapist, and she was in a clinic when we started dating, and that was, she went to a lot of school. She did her fellowship. She did a residency. She's as qualified as you can be as a physical therapist, and when we started dating, and I was living in Canada, it's a different license to practice there. So when we got serious, she had to decide what she was going to do, and that's kind of where her pivot came in. And she doesn't work in a clinic anymore, and she started training because it was how we could be together, and she could still kind of do what she had, all our education had given her. And now during COVID is when she kind of turned it into, I'm going to make videos, and then she started making her app, and it turned into, she's brought on all these other physical therapists from different, Pilates instructor, yoga, and they do all these incredible, knowledge-based, accessible things, and it's kind of what has made our relationship work. I mean, is that we can pretty much be together at all times, and she can still do what she's trained to do, but kind of do it from anywhere. But she had to make a lot of sacrifices for our relationship to work, and why I will always kind of I'll do the same thing when it comes to making choices for my career. Right now, I just want to be home with my family. I have a 3-year-old and an 8-week-old. So I just, want to be with them as much as I can. And balance is impossible when you're trying to pursue a career and have a family. And there's always going to be times that it feels incredibly imbalanced. When I was doing this Broadway run, I see you have the t-shirt on, by the way. I miss bedtime every night because the shows were at 7 p.m. and that's what time my daughter goes to bed. And it's my favorite time of day. I mean, it also can be negotiating with a terrorist.
I know.
Yeah, but it's my favorite time of day with her. So that was a huge sacrifice that I had to make. It's just I'm not going to see that, but also I have to work, and I also want to be able to do what I love doing, which is acting. And I want my kids, when they're older, to know that I continue to pursue what I love, so they'll do the same thing. But balance is impossible. You just kind of do the best you can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I sing it a lot these days, but in privacy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's weird because you said you would only do this convention if you got to sing.
Yeah.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Mira. My brother went first, and I'd like to say that I was trying to figure out a question to ask you, and he was like, oh, why don't you ask this question about, if you could have another natural event give you another enhanced ability, what you should ask, and then he went, no, I'm doing that. So I'd just like to say that
I still don't have a good answer.
and then, what is the Flash's least favorite chore? Probably because of something to do with super speed.
I've never given the God. Wow, this family gives very thoughtful, intricate questions. It would have to be. I mean, what is something that even with super speed, you'd have to do slow?
Laundry!
No, because all these things, I mean, yes, laundry, yeah, because no matter how fast, yeah, laundry, I guess, because then you gotta sit and wait for the laundry to run. You can load it.
You can't make that go fast.
No, then it goes, and then you can fold it. But, so something like that would be frustrating, because you'd have to sit, I mean, I guess you might as well hand wash it. And you just run and dry it. So, I don't know, I'll have to think more about that, too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a family email so I can think about these.
1996.
Don't say your email!
You're about to have a lot of friends.
I'm sorry for my voice. I have laryngitis.
You're okay.
But my sister has a question I'd like to ask on her behalf. She was wondering what life experience has impacted you the most and helped shape you the way you are, and why?
I mean, how real and like deep do we want me to get?
Whenever you're comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, and it's not, you know, I've thankfully not been through like a lot of incredibly traumatic events in my life, but I am a new father. I'm married now, and I mean, my parents divorced when I was like 13, which I feel like is a kind of a tough age for that. And there's like all kinds of, you know, I don't want to unload on either of my parents. My mom especially has been an incredible mom and like supported me in a lot of amazing ways my entire life, and we're still very close. But it's, you know, I think all when you know, become an adult and you get married and then you have kids, like you want to do things the ways that you wish had been done slightly different. You do things a little different, and the way some things you're like, I want to do that exactly how my parents did it. So without getting into too many details, I guess like, you know, just seeing the experiences I had as a kid and going through what I went through with my parents, I want to make sure that like my kids don't have to go through, I guess, some of the things that I went through when I was a younger kid or a teenager.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, my name is Archer, and my question is if you could choose a favorite character from The Flash, who and why?
Superman was on The Flash, so I'll say Superman. And just because I just watched, I just finished it yesterday, the day before, that Christopher Reeve documentary that just came out. It's called Superman. I don't know if everybody's seen it, or if there's a lot of Christopher Reeve fans here. Yeah, I mean, he is the reason that I fell in love with Superman, and the reason, honestly, I still love Superman to this day. There's been a lot of great depictions of Superman in live action since him, but like, I don't know that anyone's ever going to be able to do what he did with it in the way that he did it, and then just his personal story has always meant a lot to me. And seeing that documentary too, like a lot really spoke to kind of how I felt and what my journey was with The Flash. Like he was a really serious person and serious actor, but also like he loved getting to be Superman, where a lot of people told him like that's going to be career suicide. It's a comic book character. Like you want to be a serious actor, and he knew that he could take this seriously. And I was that way to a fault. I think in the early years on Flash, especially, like I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to like take it really seriously. And I think towards the end, I was able to lighten up and like have a little more fun. Superman is my favorite character that was on Flash, and because I've always loved him because of Christopher Reeve. That turned into a Christopher Reeve spiel somehow.
Hello. Hi, my name is James. I was just wondering, besides the late great Kevin Conroy, did you have anyone specifically in mind you wanted to play the Batman Bruce Wayne version in Arrowverse?
No, I mean, I saw a lot of people talk about Jensen on social, who, you know, from Supernatural, and like I've met Jensen. I think he's a really nice guy, and he's a good actor, and he's like very good fit for Batman. So, and it felt like plausible. So I think that was someone that I always assumed maybe we would try to get. Honestly, too, like I think Batman had been talked about before Superman was talked about. And I thought I didn't know him, but I thought Tyler Hoechlin would be a good Batman. But he's Superman, so you can't do both.
He's a fantastic Superman.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Now you mentioned Tyler. Now in a real life Superman versus Flash race with you and Tyler, who wins that race?
Real, just like actor versus actor?
Yeah, yes, actor versus actor.
Probably Tyler. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I was pretty fast, and then I did like train, you know, with a sprint coach before the show to like make sure that like I don't know. They never asked me if I could run like before. They never loved to be running, so they cast me on Ben. They were like, we should see if you can run. And I was a dancer, and I was an athlete before I was a dancer, so I'm like pretty coordinated. But like Tyler was a baseball player for like a long time, and like probably could have been a like pro baseball player in some capacity. He played in college, so like he's more of an athlete than me. So, and that dude is like jacked, so he should be faster than me. Alright, but who knows?
Hello.
Hi, my name is Natalie. A little closer? Okay.
First, I want to give you your flowers and say you're my hero. You're a staple in my household.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, man, and yeah, you're my hero, dude.
Thank you.
But hey, did you know that you're a meme? You know, with the peace sign by the grave.
I joke that I'm more famous for that. I've seen comments before where it's a picture of me like as the Flash and like on Instagram, and someone's like, "Is this the Tombstone meme guy?" Like, that meme will be on my tombstone. Yeah.
All right, last question. Hi.
Hi, my name is Martin, and I want to say congratulations on the World Series win for the Dodgers.
Thank you.
But I'm just curious how you became a Dodgers fan in the first place.
I grew up in Virginia, so like we don't have any professional sports. We have some college, but like I was kind of casual because we didn't have any. I was like a casual Orioles fan and like Mets fan as a kid because we have the Norfolk Tides, we're a AAA team, and when I was a kid they belonged to the Mets. Now they belong to the Orioles. David Wright, this is so boring. David Wright was a Met, but he was from my hometown. He would play for that AAA team. I loved Cal Ripken as a kid because he was the best baseball player around that time. But I moved to LA in 2011. So I've been a New York Giants fan my whole life, which has become a sad existence the last 12 years or so. But other than the New York Giants, I'm an LA sports. I'm a Clippers fan. Like I'm a Dodgers fan. Yeah, just because I'd never lived in a city that had sports, so it was like it's just cool to feel like you're a part of the city and like support the local team, and also it's an iconic franchise. Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah,
thank you. And that is our